Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, Patrick and Mark and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including the triumphant return of the best existing Sonic franchise. Fight me on that one. Then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about Yoshi's Crafted World. But Mark, in the meantime, you are Mark Mitchell.
I am, and I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's so good to be back.
It's great to have you back.
Feels so good to hear that music, to be here with you, to be here with all of you listeners.
Yes.
So nice to be back. Also, our cold open, Patrick and Mark and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, in that like SAT type way. Does that mean that Patrick is to Mario as Mark is to Sonic? Am I the Sonic of our dynamic Olympic duo?
Well, here's the thing. Can we both be the Sonic of our?
You think neither of us are Mario?
Neither of us are Mario.
I think I feel comfortable calling you the Mario of our duo.
I think what we're both in reality, we're both the Luigi.
Luigi is lovable though, right?
Yeah. Luigi is lovable, and we're lovable guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Who do you think would win in a foot race? You, me, Mario, or Sonic? Okay, now hold on. Because
I was going to say Sonic.
One of the four of us is a famously fast.
He's got to go fast.
He's got to go fast.
I don't have to go fast.
No, but you and I can also drive.
That's true. So depending on distance,
yes, we
might eventually overcome.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, Sonic appears to be fast, right? But like, how tall is Sonic?
Oh, that's true. You mean in relation to what? I mean, these are questions for the live action movie coming out later this year.
Right. Yes. Okay.
How tall is Sonic? We will find out. Is he as tall as the Golden Gate Bridge?
It's not clear.
It's not clear. Maybe he's tall. Maybe he's fast because he's tall. And so, like, in one stride. He's like Paul Bunyan big.
Yes, that's right. Accidentally creating the Great Lakes with his strides.
Yeah, so everything in Sonic World, which is Sonic World just our world?
It depends on, are you playing Sonic 2000? Wait, what's the name of that game? Sonic the Hedgehog 2006?
I mean, I think it's just called Sonic the Hedgehog.
I think you're right. Because that takes place in like the real world.
Oh, okay. That's all.
What's our point here? Look, speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, which we have been doing for a while now, you can borrow my copy of Sonic Forces. Mark, how easy is it?
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy that all you got to do is write your mailing address into an email program.
Yes.
Or a web browser opened to your email and send that.
The AOL keyword, of course, is Sonic Forces.
That's right. To Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. God, that feels good. And we send it to you. You play it for a little while. You send it back to us. It costs you what? Nothing. It costs you nothing. Mark, a quick debug from the last episode.
You know what? I feel fine about this debug because I wasn't here for it. It wasn't my fault.
It was something I was recording literally by myself that I had neglected to mention. I was going through new releases. I did not mention that Final Fantasy VII came out last week on Tuesday. And, you know, Final Fantasy VII is a very important game to me. I can't believe I missed it on the new release schedule. One thing to point out about this version of Final Fantasy VII, it is almost exactly like the Switch version of Final Fantasy IX in that it includes a music glitch. When you are on the overworld map, the music starts over every time you get into a fight. So much like Final Fantasy IX, if you want to hear all of the world map theme, you just gotta sit still for a while.
Or I think you can turn off random encounters.
Oh, that's a good point.
This version of
the game.
That's
a good point. Yeah.
But this is a real bummer because the overworld theme in Final Fantasy VII is amazing, and also like 6 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah, it's a stone cold classic. Yeah, and also like I wouldn't really wanna. Would I want to turn off random encounters?
You probably could, right? Because
you can just like level up tell it to level up and it
Yeah.
does. But is it? And this is something I guess we should look into. But is it just that you can like level up, just say like gain a level, gain a level, gain a level, or is it just automatically like level 99 it?
I'm not sure.
Because that would be too much, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I
You
don't
want some sort of challenge.
I want like the illusion of challenge. So anyway, if you were interested in Final Fantasy VII, it's been available for a week, so I
and like on other platforms for a long time.
yeah, but you know, we were being.
I mean, first time on
Twitch.
Nintendo platforms. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's insanity right there. Man, I remember getting a Nintendo Power before the Nintendo 64 came out, before the PlayStation was out. That was like teasing Final Fantasy VII for the new Nintendo platform, and being so excited about it. It's why I bought a Nintendo 64, and then it didn't end up coming, and that's then why I bought a PlayStation. Like I followed that game on those platforms for that reason. Now it's finally here, like 20 years later. All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week.
So while I was gone, I didn't have as much of a chance to play Super Mario 3D Land as I wanted, but what a great game.
So I also played through a lot of Super Mario 3D Land. I mentioned it on the last episode, but then I was like, I will hold my tongue because I am certain that Mark has been playing this game. Tell me about your experience with Super Mario 3D World. Land.
Well, that's the thing, is that I had never played this game, but I had played some Super Mario 3D World at your house, and I don't think I really understood beforehand like how much the DNA of Super Mario 3D Land was taken and used in Super Mario 3D World. Like, they're very similar games, just
totally.
without like a multiplayer component.
Yeah, and with like a little bit less like interactive, interesting map. Because Super Mario 3D World does at least give you like the illusion of like choice as you're moving through the world, where like 3D Land is like literally linear.
Yeah, and generally very short.
Yes. Yeah, short worlds and short levels like within them. How deep into this game did you get?
I think I'm in like the third or fourth world.
Okay. Yeah, still kind of on the early side.
Yeah.
I mentioned this last week, but I had two like save profiles in my copy of the game. My copy of the game, it's what's downloaded on my on my 3DS. But two of them that are completely maxed out, like full stars. I had started the game, played all the way to the end, got everything, did it again, and then on my last trip to Chicago, started again. So I guess I really like this game.
Yeah, I normally don't play with 3D enabled.
Yes.
And I definitely did for this game, even though I'm using an old 3DS XL and it doesn't have any of like the head tracking. So trying to like get your head in the right place so that way the 3D looks good is a little bit of a pain, but worth it. Because that's definitely how this game was made to be played.
Yeah, well, and like there are some even like puzzles where it becomes difficult to like just little room puzzles where if you can't see that something is in the foreground, like they're trying to trick you and forcing you to turn the 3D on. I also like that it does a thing where you can toggle between whether it's like the 3D like going into the screen or like coming like out of the screen, which is just nice. And I don't think I've seen it in other games. Like this one really has some of the best attention paid to the 3D presentation.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I think this came out like 6 years ago or something at this point.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I haven't played it until now, but it's a testament to how great the 3DS's library is. And if you pick up a 2DS, this game's like $20. Yep. It's awesome.
Yep. A very good game. I've been playing Yoshi's Crafted World, but we will talk more about that on our Thursday episode. And then I also just want to note, because I feel like it is my sworn duty now, that I have been playing Tetris 99. I have at this point logged over 60 hours between Sarah and I. Over 60 hours in Tetris 99.
That's amazing.
The game's so good.
I can't believe that I missed the Tetris 99. I mean, I would not have won anything. But I can't believe while I was gone, they did like a Tetris 99 tournament where they gave
Yeah.
gold coins away.
And I guess they have announced those winners, and people have gotten the email saying, "Here are your gold coins." Sadly, Sarah and I did not. The like 15 wins or whatever we racked up that weekend was not enough to get us $10.
Next time.
If there is a next time, and I'm telling you, Nintendo, there had better be a next time. You do a Splatfest every like month and a half.
You're still doing party punches, whatever those are called.
I think they're called party punches. All right, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week. That was funny, but also just to clarify that the party punches are the thing from ARMS, right?
Yeah. We don't know what they're actually called.
No. I mean, Party Punch is pretty good.
Yeah,
if it's
that's
not
what they
named,
should have been
if
called.
it's not called Party Punch,
No, it's not. I'm sure of it.
One of them just wrapped up, right? And like Ninjara was the winner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
Okay. Today, April 2nd, Darksiders Wardmastered Edition comes out for Switch.
So, Darksider, this is the original Darksiders,
Yeah.
and not Darksiders 2. Okay.
Did Darksiders 3 come out? Is that a game that exists?
I don't know.
I'm going to say yes.
I think that's right.
In fact, did it come out for Wii U at some point?
No.
It may have. I've never played any of the Darksiders games.
No, neither have I.
This is an interesting release to me because I feel like we've gotten to the point with a lot of these like remasters where it doesn't matter that this one's coming late. I think, the Warmastered edition's been on other platforms because it's just like when something comes to Blu-ray or DVD, like at this point people are just filling up their libraries.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and like looking for experiences on Switch, right? Like
being able to play Darksiders portable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's still what so much of like the appeal of the Switch is. But yeah, I mean, like there are old games are coming onto this platform all the time, and I guess people are buying them.
Tomorrow, April 3rd, we have Shadowblade Reload and Bow to Blood Last Captain Standing. I don't know anything about any of these games.
Is Bow to Blood or
Bow to Blood?
It might be Bow to Blood.
It might be. I don't know.
There's no way to know. But Last Captain Standing, is that like a cross between Captain Phillips and Last Comic Standing?
Or Last Man Standing, the Tim Allen Fox sitcom.
Which was like canceled and then came back.
It was canceled by ABC,
and then came back on Fox.
Like Tim Allen was real cranky about it because he's a conservative in Hollywood,
right?
And then it went anyways. It's back on Fox.
I saw a headline the other day that said, "Tim Allen demands to use the N-word."
And that feels right to me. April
like it's on his rider or something.
No green M&Ms.
Right, Lay's potato chips, diet Mr. Pibb, and I get to say the N-word.
And nobody can complain. Okay, April 4th, Pitfall Planet, Hob, the Definitive Edition, Smashing the Battle, Modern Tales, Age of Invention, and then April 5th, Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, yet another Zombie Defense HD, Circuits, and Zombie Scraper.
You know that a development team is excited about their game when they call it yet another Zombie Defense HD. Yet another?
I think it's supposed to be ironic.
It's like tongue in cheek for sure, but like it's also
tongue in cheek.
Ugh. Is a zombie? It's just a tongue falling out of his cheek because his flesh is rotting.
So maybe not the strongest week for new releases,
or for my jokes about them. All right, Mark. Let's close out this segment. And now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we have... you wrote 4 topics for us before you left.
Mm-hmm.
I used 3 of them because I did not do a 433 with Michael Delaney last week because I did not have it with me. But we have it here now,
That's right. And I can't remember what it is.
and neither can I.
So I'm delighted to find out what we're going to be talking about, which is, what is the longest you've ever been awake and why?
Oh, I don't really subject myself to any like awakeness torture for fun or business. But a couple of years ago, I went to the Del Close Marathon, a weekend-long improv festival in New York City. And the night before, so like Thursday into Friday, I had taken a red eye to New York from LA. So I slept very little on the plane that night, and then just like had a normal day until like 5 or 6 when my team performed, and then stayed up. And I saw you guys, you and maybe Butterfingers Mackenzie.
Oh, yes, that sounds right.
Right. So I saw you guys perform in like that little like weird basement theater. And then proceeded to stay up all night watching shows. So like at 5 o'clock in the morning was watching a bit show at UCB Chelsea. And then so this was after like an overnight flight where I didn't really sleep, and then stayed up all night. So that's probably the longest I didn't sleep.
That's a long time.
And why? I mean, I don't know.
You at least had the memories.
To watch a 37-man sound and movement followed by a 1-man sound and movement.
I would try to describe what a sound and movement is for listeners who are blissfully ignorant.
It's like the worst. When you have like a bad idea of what improv comedy is in your head, that's what this is. It's where people are just making noises and like moving around a stage and like accepting whatever stage picture is happening without language. And here's the thing, they were both great. I loved them both.
In the right hands.
In the right hands, and at 5 o'clock in the morning after you've been awake for 48 hours. Mark, what's the longest you've ever been awake, and why?
So I feel like I'm trying to think, because I wasn't expecting to have to actually answer this question.
Right? Yes, you just wanted to pose questions that you yourself would be immune to.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was 19, I did the Walt Disney World College program.
Okay.
Where basically you, for like, I guess it's more than a semester. It's like half a year or something. You go to Walt Disney World and you work in like a specific area of one of the theme parks, or basically just somewhere on the resort. And then you can get like college credit for it. And some people turn that into like an internship or like a career at Disney or something like that. And I, like, at that time was terrible at waking up on time.
Yeah.
And, as like a college program person, you got like terrible shifts. And
of course, yeah.
So one day I was like closing. It was during the summer, so I'd worked like a really long day, probably like 12 or like 13 hours, and then had to take a bus back to like the apartment complex I lived in. But I had to get up the next morning to be there at like 6, so which means I had to be at the bus at like 5, which means I had to get up at like 4:30. And I knew that if I went to sleep, I would not get up.
Yeah.
So I just stayed up all night after having like worked that really long shift. And so I was young, and so I could like do it.
Yeah.
And at that point it was basically fueled by Sprite and Reese's peanut butter cups.
I couldn't wait to find out if it was going to be peanut butter cups or pieces.
Peanut butter cups. I needed that extra.
Yeah, that protein.
Yeah, I needed the extra protein. And when I wore glasses at the time, and when I got home, I literally, from after like that second day of work, I guess we'll never know.
We will never know.
Let's just say I don't wear glasses anymore.
That's right. We were accompanied today. Did they fall in the toilet or something?
We'll never know.
We were accompanied today by pianist Kyle Shaw. Thank you, Kyle. Let's do the news. I did that in reverse, but let's get into the news.
Okay, so the Wall Street Journal had a report, I think a week or two ago at this point, that Nintendo is getting ready to release not one, but 2 revisions for the Switch this year. So previously we had talked about a rumor that they were going to release I think it was in like Nikkei or something, that they were going to release a like cheaper, more portable version. This is the first time that we heard of a pro version being in the works at the same time.
Right. And you and I have speculated on both directions of this.
Yeah, I mean, we
in the past.
We did an episode when rumors of a revision first came out, like, I don't know, a year ago at this point, 9 months or something.
Yeah, I mean, probably immediately after the Switch launched,
we knew it was going to happen.
We knew there was going to be another form of it.
So the designs in this article, the designs are said to be, quote, different from the original, and you'd be surprised.
Okay. So what does that mean? You'd be surprised.
I think that
they're going to be like tricorders from Star Trek.
Yeah, maybe that the PlayStation 3 demo controller that they showed
boomerang?
off, the boomerang, the batarang, is going to be coming back. No, I think I'm hoping it means that there's a clamshell version.
Sure, for the like scaled
ultra
down.
portable.
Yeah,
like
yeah, that is an underrated part of the 3DS's portability, is the fact that you just close it and suddenly it's its own case. The screen is fine. You don't have to worry about like the joysticks getting like caught on anything. It's fine.
But if they did that, I've been thinking about this a little bit. If they did, and talking about it at work on company time,
right? And thinking about it a lot.
If they did that, would they have to get rid of the analog sticks and replace them with two like circle pads?
The thing is, I don't think so, because like if you do a clamshell that like folds down over it, you just have to make sure that there are like holes where the sticks are,
or like some sort of mechanism that when you close the hinge,
that it like collapses.
Yeah, like the sticks like collapse into it.
And I do think that if there is a clamshell, first of all, I think everyone sort of expects the more portable version of this to not have removable Joy-Cons, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the features that they're talking about not being included in the scaled-down version is the HD rumble features, which is not actually in the hardware of the Switch. It's in the Joy-Cons. So to me, that says that Joy-Cons will not be removable.
And I think that makes sense. Like the other thing I was wondering is, do we see a version of this, like this cheaper version that does not plug into your TV?
I question what the point of that would be, though.
Well, because then they can like potentially, not an engineer, I don't know, but like clock the chips at a lower
oh boy.
Power. Yeah, speed. Clock the chips at a lower speed. So that way, better battery life. Right.
Yeah.
Potentially cheaper silicon. And it's not like it would be totally unprecedented. Initially, I was like, no, there's no way. Anything they release that's a Switch is going to be able to plug into the TV, because that's the whole point of the Switch. But
the whole point of the 3DS.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole point of the 3DS was 3D, and the 2DS did not have it.
Right.
So,
and then many 3DS games also did not have it.
They just didn't bother.
But I mean, the thing where I think the Switch is a little bit different is that, like, yeah, I can see them selling the scaled down version without a dock. But I think as long as it has the ability to charge the same way that it does, like as long as it has that USB-C input, it may as well be able to plug it into a dock.
No, but potentially.
Yeah.
But then again, it has to have like a fan or something to be able to, right? Because you're expecting it then to render at the full resolution of a standard Switch.
Or it doesn't do that. Like, or you can plug it in and it just renders at the same rate that it would have on a tiny little screen.
Yeah.
And you just accept that that's what that version of the Switch does. I think no matter what, it has to run in handheld mode the same way that handheld. Like, I don't think there can be a degradation from the like graphic and processing power of the Switch right now.
Sure, but what it runs in handheld mode.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, is much. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then just throw that up on the screen. And yeah, it looks worse, but also your kid can play Pokemon on it. So who cares?
And then the more expensive version, or like the Pro version, basically seems like they're doing new 3DS and 2DS all in 1 year, allegedly.
Right. Which sounds great. They're never going to call it a Pro, though.
No, I think maybe it'll just be new Switch.
Yeah, probably.
Are you thinking better screen, more screen?
Like get rid of the bezel and just have the screen go all the way to the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I think we made a pretty compelling list of like things that just need to be fixed on it, like
Better Wi-Fi.
better Wi-Fi, better battery life, the thing where the battery swells, get rid of that. And then like I don't know, like memory and processing power, and then beyond that, like I think it's fine. But yeah, definitely. Well, no, actually, having more RAM to it so people can actually run voice chat and their games at the same time, I think would also be important. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else I'd expect from a more powerful Switch.
So I was trying to remember if when the new 3DS came out, was it more expensive than a
Yes.
standard 3DS?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you think we're gonna see like a $400 Switch?
I don't know. Maybe if they are keeping the standard Switch in
At
the
300?
mix.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I guess like what I've been thinking is that the new Switch takes the place at 300, and if it's ultra portable, do you like is that secondary one 199?
I think, well, so here's the thing. I don't think that there is a realistic price point that is going to be as low as it should be for the like kind of budget version of this, because it's got to be the Pokemon machine, right? Like obviously the 2DS is designed for a great many things, but primarily it is invented so that you can have a cheap system that your kid can play Pokemon on, or that you can play Pokemon on. I don't mean to be so dismissive of Pokemon or the 2DS. But like you can get one of those for $80, $70. And like I don't know, even at like 150, which seems like a staggeringly low price for a Switch. Is that cheap enough?
Well, that was maybe not the starting price of the 3DS, but that was like when they like knocked the $50 off or whatever.
Yeah,
that was like around where
I think
it was.
It started at 180 and then came down to like 130, and then the like new 3DS started at like $200.
Oh wow.
Which is high. So like I don't know. I if they can get this thing down to $200, I think that's good. I think that still makes it a little expensive for a children's product.
Yeah, for sure. I do think that like 120 would be, or like 150 would be the ideal sweet spot. But, Nintendo has not had any problem selling Switches at 300.
No, that's true. Does it seem weird to you at all that the if there is a cheaper version, I guess we should probably accept all of this as like at least relatively true. But if there is a cheaper version where the Joy-Cons don't come off, that means that is basically not compatible with Labo.
Yeah,
it's weird, right?
Yeah,
that like if you want to use Labo stuff, you still need a higher.
But also
or just buy Joy-Cons, I guess.
I wonder if you can I wonder if you will be able to pair Joy-Con with a portable version, or if they are going to just treat it like a handheld where it's like, no.
Oh, sure.
You can't at that point. But then
That's
you wouldn't be able to play Mario Party, right? Because you have to detach the Joy-Cons for that. Also,
not that you have to detach the Joy-Cons, but that there have to be Joy-Cons for it.
But you can't play in handheld mode, can you? I don't think you can. I think you have to.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Take them off of the system.
But I'm saying you could have like the normal Joy-Cons that are on there, and then like another set of Joy-Cons that you could be using to play. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. But to your point about Labo, would like a bigger version like that also may not work with Labo?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you can't really change too much about the size of the Switch without like the Joy-Cons looking weird on it.
Oh, that's a really good point. Or the dock, or anything like that.
So we have no information.
But Eurogamer, they corroborated the Wall Street Journal's report, saying that they've heard that with the cheaper version, Nintendo is looking to capture the value proposition of the 2DS, which we talked about, that it'll be sturdier than the current Switch because they're expecting children to have it. And nothing says sturdy like clamshell. and that it'll be made. They didn't actually say that. I
Right.
should make that clear.
Right, that's Mark editorializing.
And that it'll be made cheaper by removing features, which we also talked about. But so we've heard it from two sources.
Seems, and this is also the second time that the rumors have like bubbled up to the surface and made us talk about it. So, and they're saying sometime this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think they'll launch both at the same time, or do you think like the Pro one will be launched in summer and then the other one comes out closer to Pokemon?
I mean, that is interesting because obviously the scaled down one is targeted for like the Pokemon audience. What would the scaled up one be? Just like for people playing Nintendo?
Yeah,
There's no game for it as far as I see on the horizon.
Well, that's the other thing is that the new 3DS launched with, or at least was announced with new 3DS exclusive titles, even if it was just like Xenoblade Chronicles.
And then eventually
it
was Xenoblade something. And then also like the Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus or whatever on 3DS was only a new 3DS game.
Right, and you could only get like the SNES
that's right.
games. I'm just wondering if
they did that here,
some sort of exclusive. Look, I mean, I don't think they will, but there were all of that metadata for SNES games in the Nintendo Switch Online.
And possibly Nintendo 64, we don't know.
Right. So that would be really funny. Patrick, if they come out with a compelling and cheap enough version, like portable version, are you going to buy both of these?
Here's the thing. Kinda.
I know, because I really would love a hyper portable version of the Switch, because on my trip I did not bring my Switch.
Yeah.
Because it's just a little too cumbersome.
I didn't bring mine
to
Chicago, yeah.
But I'm also interested in this Pro version.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm saying, Nintendo, is if you want like 750 of my dollars,
yeah, you can have
them.
But also I would trade in my regular Switch in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, that thing's dead to me as soon as the new one is announced.
Absolutely.
I hope that the new one has just like a weird little like camera nub somewhere.
Yeah. It's
like
got to have a weird
3DS
camera nub,
does.
and I hope it also ships with a Nintendo Switch shredder, so you can just feed your old one right into it.
This 64-bit tonic patch for Yooka-Laylee is now live. The patch allows players to switch between the regular graphics and models that are more in line with the game's Nintendo 64 era influences, like something that looks more like Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64.
Have you gotten a chance to look at this at all?
I saw a trailer.
Yeah. True to its word, it looks as though you are playing a Nintendo 64 game. Which was always what Yooka-Laylee was like aiming for. There were too many sort of like gameplay design flaws in that game for me to really get into it. But I know that is also coupled with the fact that like the graphics look like it's not what I expect from a game like that.
I know, it's kind of funny to me. So it also includes the CRT TV mode, which includes like scan lines and screen curves. So it's funny to me that their solution to that problem is just obscuring how ugly it is.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, that's arguably what made pixel graphics work in the first place, right? Is that like here's this little collection of mosaic tiles, and your screen is blurry enough that you're like, oh yeah, that's a little man.
So not enough to get you back into Yooka-Laylee?
Probably not. I had a pretty negative reaction to it when I started playing it. And I don't know that I've seen anyone make a case of like, no, go back in and try Yooka-Laylee. It's worth it. If any of our listeners have had a great experience with Yooka-Laylee, I'd love to hear it. You can email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. But otherwise, there's no way I'm going back.
Fans who got their hands on the Switch version of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the new Castlevania-like game that was crowdfunded and is coming out later this year, they were showing it off at PAX East this last weekend, and impressions of the Switch version are not great. With US Gamer calling it, quote, choppy and unpolished, and featuring, quote, terrible input lag, slowdown, and an inconsistent frame rate.
So not great.
Not great. And now, a few weeks ago when we talked about this game,
Because they were showing it off in part of like either an indie
yeah,
showcase
or the direct.
the direct or something. Yeah.
You called this Mighty Number 9-esque.
Yes.
Which which at the time I said was really cruel, but is now maybe looking a little prescient.
It's okay to say Patrick was right. I think that's fair. I don't think anyone's going to hold it against you.
So US Gamer did also note that a representative from 505 Games said that there was still a lot of optimization that needed to be done for the Switch version, and that the final build is expected to run as smoothly as the PC version. So I'm guessing like the PC version or what other versions were there did not
have
show
the same
off demo
performance
as
issues.
poorly.
Yeah, but I mean it's maybe a little troubling to just note that all the rest of the platforms seem to be in pretty good shape, and then the Switch version is chugging a little.
For sure. And anytime there's like a preview event, you kind of give developers the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But they're not always able to like pull off a hat trick.
Yeah, and I think especially, well, I don't know. I was gonna say especially when like one piece of hardware is so like underpowered compared to the others, but also like you have to imagine that like people are going to be looking to play this game on the Switch, right? Like that's the home of indie games right now.
Yeah, you would think so. Especially, but it does make sense now why they like canceled the Vita version not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks ago, we talked about a new game being teased by Shovel Knight developer Yacht Club. That game was revealed last week as Cyber Shadow, a ninja action game being developed by one-man studio Mechanical Head Studios.
Yes, we talked about it. Kelly and I talked about it 2 weeks ago. Yacht Club was teasing it with just a single graphic of the ninjas like standing over a like ruined cityscape. And I said, it's from Yacht Club and it's got a ninja and like pixel graphics. I'm in.
Is this the first game that Yacht Club Games is publishing?
Mark,
like,
I
that isn't...
just don't know. The only thing I know Yacht Club Games for is Shovel Knight and the attendant.
And I feel like
DLC
that was like
packs.
the first thing that they ever released.
Yeah,
and they developed that as well.
Yes,
I think this may be the first time that they're acting as publisher.
I think that's right. And it's nice to see them like pushing something that it isn't Shovel Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they've been, since they were so successful in their Kickstarter campaign for the original Shovel Knight, they've been having to deliver on their stretch goals for the last like 5 years. So it's cool to see them have like one more thing that's not just Shovel Knight, which by the way still isn't done yet.
This looks a lot like The Messenger. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't know, like how pixel art ninja games like. They're gonna look like The Messenger.
Fair.
I mean, I think it also has a lot of the same. Like, it looks as though there's a lot of like combining of combat and traversal, which is the thing that I loved most about The Messenger. So I mean, I'm here for it. I'm very interested to see what this game looks like.
Nintendo launched their E3 2019 website, which not that far away at this point, just a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't really reveal too much information about their plans or for their booth or for their Nintendo Direct. They did announce 2 tournaments, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World Championship 2019, 3 versus 3, and Splatoon 2 World Championship 2019 on June 8th, which is the Saturday before E3 officially begins.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the same stuff that they were doing last year, which great. There's no ARMS tournament. I guess we're not supporting Party Punches anymore.
Well, I mean, when ARMS 2 is sure to be announced at this year's E3, why bother?
Right, and the booth is all going to be ARMS 2, of course.
Uh-huh.
What a disappointment that would be. I feel like people would riot.
Hey, remember how Joker from Persona 5 is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 tiny nuggets of information about that. The first is that the website for the DLC has been updated. The release date for the first DLC pack used to say something like approaching April, and now it just says approaching ...
Okay, so let's speculate wildly. Does this mean we can no longer expect the DLC in April, or does it mean approaching expect it now?
I know, weird. I have no idea.
Why would they change this?
I don't know. Unless it was delayed, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That it's no longer coming in April.
It seems like it could only be bad news. But we were promised by the end of April.
Yeah, I don't know. But Best Buy has leaked an image of what could be Joker's full in-game render, which Nintendo has yet to reveal. So, was it an amiibo announced for this?
Well, we know that there will be an amiibo for all the DLC characters, but they have excuse me, they haven't shown the Joker amiibo or really confirmed that yes, there will be a Joker amiibo, but we know that there will be amiibo for all the characters, and we know that Joker is one of those characters. They just haven't said yes, here's a Joker amiibo, and this is what it looks like.
Gotcha.
But Best Buy is showing off, an image of, I guess, to advertise the DLC, which includes an image of Joker.
So yeah, people are speculating that maybe we'll hear more. Maybe there'll be like a Smash Direct or something coming up soon.
Smash DLC Pack 1 Direct.
I
mean, here's the thing.
Because version 2.0 is also supposed to be coming pretty soon.
And where's that iPhone app? Huh?
Oh, yeah, great. Smash World.
Yeah, where is Smash World?
Yeah.
And also, at some point, they're going to have to talk about what the other DLC characters are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they do that as part of the DLC Character Pack 1? Or, like, how much... Is it free hype anytime they want? That like they can cash that check at any time?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it.
Yeah. So maybe they can spread all of this out. They can wait until they are ready to push the first character pack, and then do that. Wait a month or two, and then announce the new character.
Yeah,
and we'll just bite on it every time.
In August of 2016, all 3 versions of Nintendogs plus Cats disappeared from the North American 3DS eShop. No one knows why.
Nope.
But under similarly mysterious circumstances, all 3 have shown back up on the US or on the North American 3DS shop.
Yeah, and again, no one knows why. This is weird.
Very weird.
Do you ever mess around with Nintendogs?
No, I didn't buy it on the DS or the 3DS version.
I had a Nintendog on the DS named Lena. She was great. I loved her dearly for 3 weeks and then forgot she existed. And when I read this news item, I was momentarily really interested in going and picking up a version of Nintendogs for 3DS. So we're going to check in with me next week to see if I've gone crazy and actually done this and had a make-believe dog in my video game system.
I bet you would have a blast. And are they selling it for $20 at this point?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, why not have a virtual dog? Here's 2 great things about Nintendogs. 1, they never grow up. They're puppies forever. And number 2, they also never die. You can leave them alone forever. They'll pee on the floor. They will become disobedient, but they will never die.
Yeah, Lena's somewhere.
Geez, is she somewhere? I guess probably, right? I sold that or traded that back into a GameStop somewhere. It means there could be someone else out there taking care of my Nintendog. Is that weird?
We found out recently that the new Samurai Showdown is headed for Switch, along with all the other current generation consoles. But SNK announced a Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection coming to all the same platforms as well.
That's very cool to me. I'm semi excited about a new Samurai Showdown game coming out. But what I really like are I've really only played Samurai Showdown 2. But there are 4 other games in that collection that I would be super excited to play on anything, but definitely on Switch.
So it's a total of 6 Samurai Showdown games. Digital Eclipse, the developer behind the Mega Man Legacy Collection, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, and the Disney Afternoon Collection.
All 3 are collections that I own.
Is in charge of the project, and online play will be supported. There's also a museum mode, which features unique and exciting bonus content.
So I'm very much into this. I'm sorry I made you read that, and I'm sure you have very little interest in Samurai Showdown.
Well, Patrick, did you think that the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games were dead?
I did.
Because they're not.
Oh.
Please don't think that anymore.
I did think it.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 has been announced and is coming to the Switch by the end of the year. This is the first Mario and Sonic game since 2016's Rio de Janeiro Olympics. It's also the first for the series on Switch.
So this is after taking 2 years ago Winter Olympics off, just cause
Winter Olympics are boring, and
Winter Olympics are boring. This is true, and it was also like a weird time for Nintendo.
oh yeah, that's true.
Like, what were they going to put it out on Wii U
Right.
at the end of its life cycle? Probably not.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I'm just thinking, like, as far as like video game sporting events go,
you don't think there's like a lot of market for like Sonic doing the luge?
I think it's just less like dynamic than seeing Bowser do rhythm gymnastics.
There's a biathlon where you ski and shoot stuff.
I could see Waluigi in that.
Yeah, he'd be good.
I feel like Waluigi's into like guns and knives and stuff.
That does seem right, and it makes me like him less.
On Monolith Soft's Japanese Twitter account, they confirmed they're hiring developers to work on a game in the Legend of Zelda series. Monolith Soft contributed to Breath of the Wild, and there are rumors that a Breath of the Wild follow-up is in the works for next year.
Okay, I think a lot to break down here. Monolith was involved with Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I think just like I don't know exactly the extent of their involvement, but they definitely had experience with like open world games previously, so I don't know if it was more on like the tech side, but yeah, they did lend a hand with Breath of the Wild.
And the job listing, the developers that they're hiring are specifically for a game in the Zelda series.
Yeah, there's just like a straight up Legend of Zelda logo.
Oh, all
in
right.
the recruitment, like.
I mean, that's smart recruiting. That's I would be interested in working on a Zelda game.
I am hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess not hoping. I'm sure I'll be delighted whatever the game is. But it would be cool if this is like a maybe not specifically like Majora's Mask, but kind of that sort of taking the bones of Ocarina of Time, turning it into Majora's Mask, taking the bones of Breath of the Wild and turning that into like something similar but different.
Yeah, and I like that the I hope that it is also something like that, just because I have played many hours of Breath of the Wild, but I feel like I have not had enough of that formula. Like, give me more of that formula, and I'm there. Like, tweak it just a little bit, and I will engage with that again.
Yeah, like something I think we had talked about maybe on this show is Breath of the Wild. The Hyrule is very barren.
Yes.
And what if you just like reverse that and make it like you're in a big city?
Yeah, just one big
it's just
city.
Like teeming with people.
Man, I mean, that would be insanity, and it would be so hard to do.
And you're like Link Spider-Man.
Woo! I'd be down for Link Spider-Man. Give me them double claw shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Long shots? What are they called? Hook shots.
Hook shots. Party punch.
Claw shot.
Finally, if you're a U.S. subscriber to Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, or either of them, because if you are a subscriber to Amazon Prime, you get Twitch Prime included, you can get a free year of Nintendo Switch Online.
For free.
For free. It works on individual accounts, but not on family accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the website, you initially get 3 months for free, and then 60 days later, you can come back and redeem the last 9 months.
So, like, you really got to be engaged with this thing.
Yeah, well, I think part of the reason they're doing that is because you can buy Prime on a month-by-month basis for like $14 or something like that.
Sure. So if people did that, got the free year.
Yeah,
got it.
So you're at least like paying more than the $20 that the Switch subscription would cost for a year.
I'm an Amazon Prime subscriber.
Oh yeah, I've already got my 3 months free because it stacks. If you
really?
already bought the full year, it stacks.
Oh, so I should definitely do this right now.
Yeah, because you'll just get 3 months added to your subscription, and then another
after
9
60
months
days.
after 60 days.
Yeah, okay.
You do have to, after the 60 days, you have to go back to the website and redeem a new code.
Okay, all right.
So it doesn't just happen automatically. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool, because then, you know what? You can play Tetris 99 for free.
Exactly. And maybe you don't have Amazon Prime, but your parents do. And there's a really good chance that your parents are not going to use this 1 year free of Nintendo Switch Online. So,
I mean, this is true of most parents for sure, but we can even take parents out of this equation. You know someone who has Amazon Prime who does not have a Switch.
Yeah, very true. Coworker.
Yeah, so just like get asking people, be like, hey, when that was shipped to you, did you pay for shipping? Find out.
Yeah, be real discreet.
Yeah, no one will know what you're up to.
They'll think you're a real weirdo.
And then just tell them, no, you just want to watch the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah. And everybody will get that.
Right. So they'll give you their password. And then, you can also do that. You can also watch that show.
You can get this under false pretenses is what we're saying.
Absolutely. Have we become shills for Amazon? All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, all that wonderful stuff. We love it when you do. If you like this episode, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. That helps us out tremendously. That's how new people find out about this show. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MK Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. Our Facebook page is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying, whoever's got my Nintendo, you treat her right, or I will find you. And thanks for listening.
Campfire.